This is note-taking guide 5.7 for Math 1. So we're still in the functions unit. We've been doing a lot of things with functions. We've been adding them together, subtracting them, graphing them, combining graphs, just a lot of different things with them. So today we're actually going to add and subtract functions graphically. So what we've got over here is we've got this big table of values. We have a f of x function, a g of x function, and then we have an h of x, which is f of x plus g of x. So we're going to be combining these two functions together to make this third function over here. So what we're going to do is a lot of algebra right now, just substituting these numbers in. So grab your calculators out and get ready with me. Hopefully we can do a lot of it without the calculator. But all right, the first thing we're going to do is substitute these numbers into the f of x function. So we're going to put -3 in place of x. So it will be -3 plus 1. -3 plus 1 equals -2. So my answer on this one is going to be -2. Then I'm going to put -2 in, so I'll have -2 plus 1. -2 plus 1 is a -1 for my answer there. Next one, I'm going to put -1 in, so -1 plus 1. That's actually going to be 0 for my ordered pair there, my y value. I'm putting 0 in, so 0 plus 1, I'm just going to do that in my head. It's 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. And 3 plus 1 is 4. So there's my values for my f of x function. Now we're going to do the same thing for our g of x function, but this time we have that x up there as a power. So really grab your calculators out and let's do the math here. So we're going to do 3 to the -3rd power. So I'm putting 3 to the -3rd power in my calculator like that. We're just going to round to like 2 decimal point numbers or something, or in this case let's do 3. So 0.037, and I'm just going to write it right here. So 0.037. Then we're going to do 3 to the -2 power, and that's going to be 0.111. 3 to the -1 power, that's 0.333. We're going to do 3 to the 0 power. Anything to the 0 power is 1. That's the easy one to remember. 3 to the 1st power is 3. 3 to the 2nd power is 9. 3 to the 3rd power is 27. Now we're going to take those two functions and we're going to add them together over here. That's what it tells me to do. It tells me to add those together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those functions values that we just found. We're going to add them together into a third function. So we're going to do -2 plus 0.037. And I get -1.963. Then I'm going to do, so really what I'm doing is just adding these two numbers together all the way down to get that third column with the numbers. So -1 plus 0.111 is -0.889. This will be 0.333 because 0 plus 0.333. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 9 is 12. And 27 plus 4 is 31. So here's all my values that I now am going to graph. And we're going to graph all three functions onto the graphs here. So it's going to take a minute here for me to get back over onto a piece of graph paper that we can use. Hopefully we can graph these all three together on I'm using the iPad, and it makes it kind of difficult to graph because of the way that the iPad works, but let's go give it a try on the next page. Alright, so here we go. And I'm just going to be grabbing my ordered pairs so you guys can see yours at the same time. I can't see mine at the same time. But the ordered pairs that I'm going to graph -3, -2, -2, 1, 1. I'm going to graph this f of x function first using just those two sets of ordered pairs there. So that's my plan, what I'm doing. So, and again, So I have -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3 are the numbers that I'm going with here. So my first ordered pair is -3, -2. So over -3, down -2. So my first point's about right there. Then I'm -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, 2, 3, and 3, 4. So this is my first function. This is my f of x function. Now I'm going to change colors and we'll do our g of x function. So our g of x function, if we're going to go back and look at our ordered pairs, we're actually using -3 with -0.037, -2 with 0.111. We're going that direction now on our ordered pairs. So we're going to be -3 and then just barely up at all. And then we're going to be -2. And we're 0.111, so a little bit higher. -1, and just a little bit higher again. 0, and then we're up at 1. 1, we're up at 3. 2, we're up at 9. And then the next one's going to be off of our, that went away. And so our graphs come in something like this. So that one's definitely exponential. Our first one was linear. This one's exponential. And that one's g of x. Now our third one should be a combination of those two. So I'm expecting it to be kind of a curve somewhere in between on the steepness between the line and the curve that we already have. So now I'm going to be graphing these ordered pairs from our previous page where it's going to be like -3 and this value, -2 and this value. So let's go back over and graph them. So we're going to be -3 and then -2 almost. It's -1.9 or something like that. So somewhere in there. -2 and then -1.8. Still somewhere in there somewhere. -1.33. So here. 0, 2. So here. 1, 5. So there. 2, 12. Which takes me off of my chart. So my new one's coming through something like that. So now what we've got to do is just answer the questions about our graphs here. So it says, what's the domain of f of x? Well, f of x is this line. Domain goes from left to right. The domain of that, because it's a line, it's going forever to the left, so -infinity. It's going forever to the right, so +infinity. Then it says the range of f of x. Again, it's a line, so it's going to go down forever and it's going to go up forever. So again, it's -infinity to infinity. Then it says the domain of g of x. Again, going forever this direction, left, and forever to the right. So still -infinity to infinity. The range from bottom to top on the purple graph is still going to be the same thing. So -infinity to infinity. So these last three questions are still looking at this graph. I just am on a different page again. Oh, it says, what is the domain of f of x? We already actually answered the domain of f of x. It was -infinity to infinity, but we'll write it here again just because. It says, where does h of x cross the y-axis? So h of x is our new yellow one. Where does it cross the y-axis at? It actually crosses right here, which is up at 3. So my answer is going to be 3 on that. And then it says, does h of x look more like f of x or g of x for the negative x values? So on the negative x values, which is right here, this new one that we graphed, so the negative x values are right here, all the way to right here. Does it look more like a line or like the curve? And I think it looks more like the curve, so I'm definitely going to put that it looks more like g of x. That's the end of today's note-taking guide, you guys. If you have any questions, come see me, and good luck with your homework.